Hi. The purpose of this video is to teach you the basic procedure of EFT tapping. It's really quite simple. First, you get a piece of paper and a pen or pencil, and you want to get a rating on your feeling. For this example, we're going to use stress. So you just sit for a moment and think, gee, on a scale from 0 to 10, how stressed out am I right now? Or whatever else you're working on at the time. And don't get too hung up on giving it a number. It's just for comparison purposes. You'll compare later on when you're done tapping. So you write down your number 0 to 10. And then you start the tapping. And the tapping points are, the karate chop point is right here on the side of the hand. That's where you start. Top of the head point is not back at the crown of your head, but if you were to run a string from the tops of your ears up to the top of your head, where those strings met, that's the right spot. And you can cluster your fingers like this to cover a larger area, or do this, whatever's comfortable for you. Next spot that I use is the middle of the forehead, or the third eye. You can use a couple of fingers, just make sure you're covering a larger area. The next spot is the beginning of the eyebrow, not the middle of your nose, the beginning of the eyebrow. The next spot is side of the eye, which not over here on your temple, it's right next to the side of your eye. The next spot is under the eye. Again, not way down here on your cheek, right under the middle of your eye. Just don't poke yourself in the eye. The next spot is under the nose. Pretty self-explanatory. You can use a couple of fingers, you can do it sideways, however is comfortable for you. The next spot is the chin point, which is not truly on your chin, it's in the spot underneath your lip, in between the lip and chin right there. Next spot is the collarbone. It's the hardest for some people to find, because it's not truly on your collarbone. You find it by finding that notch in between the two collarbones, go down about an inch and over about an inch. It's really where the collarbone meets the first rib. You can tap there. Some people do something like this to kind of cover the whole area. That's perfectly fine. The next spot is the under the arm spot, which is not in your armpit. It's down, about 4 inches or so, where a lady's bra strap would go across. And then you start all over again. Go back to the top of the head and work down the points. And you can do several rounds. Some people do 3 or 4 rounds, stop and assess the progress. Some people just keep going until they feel a shift. In this case, if you were using it for stress, you could just keep going until you feel the stress reducing. And then afterwards, you can add a positive round of tapping, like I choose to handle my stress better, or whatever is appropriate for you. After you go through reducing your number on the stress or whatever it is that you're working on. So let's do an example round using our example of stress. Start on the karate chop point. And you say your setup phrase 3 times while tapping the karate chop point. The setup phrase is very simple. It goes, even though you fill in the blank with whatever you want to use the tapping on at the time, and then say, I still deeply and completely love and accept myself. I personally tend to add in forgiveness. I forgive myself. I forgive anyone else who's contributed to the situation. It's your personal choice. Okay, so let's do a round. I'm going to say the phrase and then pause and wait for you to say it after me. Even though I have all this stress right now, you repeat after me. I still deeply and completely love and accept myself. And I forgive myself for being so stressed out right now. And I forgive anyone else who may have contributed to my stress. Even though I have all this stress right now, I still deeply and completely love myself, accept myself for who I am, and I forgive myself for being so stressed out right now. Even though I'm having a really high amount of stress right now, I still deeply and completely love and accept myself. And I forgive myself for having all this stress. And I forgive anyone else who may have contributed to it. Okay, now we go through the points. I'm so stressed out right now. The phrases that you say while you're going through the points, whatever you feel like saying. All this stress. I am so stressed out. My stress level is through the roof. Oh, I'm so stressed. Wow, I can't believe how stressed out I am. Feeling all this stress in my whole body. It's good to add where you feel things. Feeling all this stress in my neck. Or wherever you feel it. Feeling a lot of stress right now. And then you would start over again at the top of your head and go down. Now a lot of people do the underarm one like this. I personally find it more comfortable because of my body shape to do it this way or to rub vigorously there. And note on the tapping, you want to do it vigorously. Don't hurt yourself, but don't go so just tap a little bit vigorously so you feel it on all of the points, and you would go through and do several rounds if you're really stressed out about something until the level drops down. And then you sit for a moment, take a nice deep breath, and assess your level again from 0 to 10 and see where you're at. Hopefully you're down to a 0 and you don't feel like strangling somebody. So there you have it, the basic procedure for using EFT tapping. Now you can use it for anything you want. Just insert your issue after even though I. Okay.